So this particular symbol is not same as the equal to in mathematics. Instead, it is one of the assignment operator. The symbol, this equal to sign, assigns the value on the right hand side of the variable name to on the left hand side. This essentially means that it notes down the memory location address of the value on the left hand side and links it to the name of the variable to the left on the left hand side. This behavior is demonstrated been demonstrated on the Python code console here. For example, now you have already seen that we have assigned a equal to 5 value. So a equal to 5, this is I was assigned. And now if I want to write, now I want to print what is the value of a, I will simply write the variable name and put out an enter. It will show me. So now this is the value which has been printed by the Python REPL. Okay, this is the value which has been printed by Python REPL. Now if I use print a command, so this is the value which has been printed using the print function. See the difference. When you directly put a variable, it will write an output, but when you use the print function, it will show you as a printed output. It is so this is the showing that it is been just a display. It is not allocating any memory. Here a memory has been allocated to this variable as an output 28, but here it is just showing a printed value of printing. Okay. So for example, now let us say the value, what I want to mention is that the value of the variable can be printed by Python REPL. By REPL I means to say that by simple this command, by writing only a, by simply writing the variable name and pressing enter key, it will be showing you an output. And it can also be printed using the print function, where the name of the variable has been taken as an input. Just to make it clear that here we have not used a comma, single or double inverted comma, which indicates it is not a string but it is a variable. There are no quotes before and after a. Also the printed values correspond to the last assigned value. So we can say that, for example, I write a is equal to 5, b is equal to 5. So let me see, b is equal to a. The output will be different, is it? No. Why? Because when b is equal to a is executed, a is equal to 5, b is equal to 5. Now let us change this variable. Let me say b is equal to 15 and b equal to a. Now, it is not showing any output. Why? That will be discussed further. In short, if you want to check whether this particular thing b is equal to a comes in comparison operators, we have to compare it, and for it we have to enter one more equal to sign and it will show an output. Okay. Here what happens when you write b is equal to a? Why? Because I have assigned b is equal to 5, then I have assigned b is equal to 15 and a is equal to 5, because b has been assigned with the value a. That is the simplest thing. I thought this behavior is understood by you before, and I not need to explain it, but still it is in the similar manner. So in addition to the simple operators that is available here in the console, you can see, I mean to say in the slide, as you can see, arithmetic operators, the simple arithmetic operators or assignment operators. So there are more operators that can perform operations and which are shown in the table in the side. You can see that the operator of equal to and plus equal to minus equal to slash and equal to double slash, these are all the operators. The assignment operators are most frequently used features on all kind of program in all kind of platform. But the increment and decrement operator, see, when I say the increment and decrement operator, it is nothing but this. This is an increment operator and this is a decrement operator. Okay, the increment and decrement operator are vary respectively. They are used extensively when we need to proceed stepwise program, when you are going for a looping program. So I'm not going to show you a loop program, but let us demonstrate a simple single line code to see how this particular operator behave. First of all, let me clear the screen and clear the memory. Now I'm going to write a is equal to 10. So as per REPL, it will print me the value of 10. But I'm going to write b is equal to 0, and so I can say that b is equal to this. Now I'm going to use increment operator. B is equal to, no, b is been incremented using this, and there is a. So what is the value b? As per the REPL, b must be, just guessing what will be output of b. Let me see. It is 10 only. I'll explain later that why it is been like this. Now let me just say b is equal to 1, and now I am going to run this particular line, b incremented by a, and the output will be 11. Similarly, you can test other operators also. For example, you can test other operators by, for example, first of all, let me assign a value of 10 to a. Then let me assign a value of 5 to b. 5 to b. Now let print a. Let print a by REPL and b by this. And now let again reassign b. So what happens when you write this particular line of increment here is this, that b is reassigned to the value b plus a. So it will be actually 15. So when you run again the REPL, it will be this. Now if I reassign the value of now I'm going to decrement. So what happens here, the plus changes to minus, and it will be guessing the value, what will be simple 5. So a still stands the value, a will be 10 only, but the only difference will occur in b. That's the point. Now if I say if I want to run another operator for the division operator, okay, what happens when I use the slash equal to sign of the division operator? Okay, let's see what happens. The output of b will be 0.5. So it is nothing but the division operator. A will be the same and b will be this. But now what happens when I use the double slash value? The double slash equal to operator means the floor division operator. The floor division operator, it will show you the output of 0.0. That's the difference here. So let's move further. The next operator is asterisk mark, and this v is equal to v into a. So when I say, for example, let me again reassign the value. So a is equal to 10, b is equal to 5. Okay. So in order to check whether a is 10 and b is 5, let us again enter. Okay. Now I want to see the output is correct or not. I must say a is a star equal to and b. So the output of a must be a is equal to v into a, that is a is equal to a into b. So a will be 5 times of 50. Okay, so b will not be changed. Now if you want to do an exponential operator, that is v is equal to v raised to a, so the output will be a is equal to a raised to b, so it would be 3125000, 50 raised to 5, like that. Now one more operator that is left, the last operator, that is percentage and equal to sign. Let us check it. For example, now if I go for the reminder operator, that is nothing but the reminder operator. This particular sign stands for reminder operator, this one. If I go for a reminder operator, so now the output of value of a will be different. It would be a is equal to 0. Why? Because 0 is a reminder. So the operation is performed is nothing but 3125000 divided by 5. The quotient is 625,000 something. The remainder will be 0. So here we have checked about the arithmetic operators: addition, subtraction, multiplication, exponential division, and the floor division operator and remainder operator in this particular session. Now they can be used with different type of number and arithmetic mathematical calculation. The only fact that you need to remember is the limits of the maximum number that you can store in a particular data type of an arithmetic operator, which allows the usage of particular data type for its argument only. Okay. This thing has been done. Now let us see how to multiple assign an operator. Means I will let a is equal to 5, b is equal to 5. Instead of that, Python provides me a simple text that I can multiply assign, and for example, a is equal to b is equal to c, x is equal to 10. So a will be 10, b will be 10, and the x will be 10. So this is the particular feature of Python. It is not available in all these platforms. Okay. So you can say that you can assign multiple variables by only in a single line. So the new memory location will be more better. So this type of thing, the small thing, would help you in optimizing your code in a better manner. So while assigning a value, its data type doesn't need to be explicitly defined. So what I want to say that Python interpreter judge the data type itself. For example, let us say, for example, if I write is equal to 4, let me write it, a is equal to 4 and its type a. You know that 4.0 is nothing but a float type number. Okay, is a floating point type. So Python will directly assign its float. Now instead of 4.0, if I just convert it to 4, initially it was float, now it has been integer. You don't need to define it. Now instead of this, I write 4 in scientific notation, or I write 4e10. Now a is assigned to the value 4 into 10 raised to 10. Its type would be floating point. Yes, it is a floating point. Okay. Now instead of this, let me see. For example, b is assigned a value, and let me say a is a string. A should be a string. So let me change a to my name. My name is Tejas actually. It would be string. So it can be noted here that there are many ways of defining a floating point number. You can use the scientific notation of 4e10 to denote, as per in engineering notation term, a scientific notation term. And you can assign the suppressed printed value at REPL, but the output of the type function is not suppressed, and hence it is printed at REPL. Okay, I know you know the full form of REPL. If not, it is one of the important topic. You should remember it. So moving further, let us talk about another form of operators, that is assignment operator. We have talked about arithmetic operators. So what are arithmetic operators? So as I have already mentioned, we have already seen all this about arithmetic operators. So the mathematical operations such as addition, subtraction, exponential, or you can say floor division, uses in this type of operators. Just a minute. For example, some arithmetic operators which work on string and list object, as well as you can also check that we have in our previous slides today, we have seen that many operators of arithmetic can be used for concatenation over string operators. It joins two or more arguments together from head to tail. The same thing happened for a list data type. Also, the star operators perform the repeatedly addition by number of argument as mentioned by the integer. If you apply other arithmetic operators on string and list, then you can also encounter error messages. We have already checked it in our previous codes also here today. So let us check it again. What I'm going to say, I'm going to try this each and every arithmetic operator on the console, and let's see what difference occur. We have already gone through this, but for clarity purpose, clearing the screen first. Now let me say I want to check the remainder. For example, it should be divided by, for example, 2.3. let us check like this. So you have to before a percentage sign, if you are using it as an operator, it is advisable to add a space before and after it. By default, Python is case sensitive, but a continuity of space will be considered as an no region. The output is 1.9004. Output is of course a reminder, but the percentage sign. If I want to know the quotient sign, I will just go for a division operator, and its addition will also be performed. That is simple. 6.5 output. The subtraction can also be performed. It is this. The exponential operator can also be like this. This is a simple use of operators. I know you know all this. It is a waste of time, but you can skip this, but just for understanding purpose, the output will be 1. Now this particular sign indicates a floor division operator. It should be noted. So as I have suggested that some work on string and some are not. So for example, now let us see how to work on string. If I write hello world to this particular Python code, it will give me a hello world thing. Now if I want to work on string or list, I want to work on list, the output should be 1 2 3 4 5 6. This way Python works. Now multiplication operators has been used for multiplication. Now this actually has to be I think there is a mistake in this line. Hello, hello, hello. It will repeat it 3 times. Now instead of this particular line, now let's say I will operate this on list, the multiplication operator, and then this thing. It will repeat the list for 3 times and save it in the same list. But in the above line, hello, if I write with particular for a float number, will it give me an output or it will generate an error? Of course it will generate an error. Why? Because it is a non-integer type. When you talk about string works only on integer type. Means if you want to concat a string, you should always use an integer type. You should avoid use this float type multiplication. In a similar manner as I have already shown you earlier, that the division operator also does not perform over hello. It will show me an error. In the similar manner, the quotient operator will also show an error. Let us say this is about string, but it is working on this list. No, it is not working on list also. See, it is not working on list too, because this operand type is not supported by Python. Even the subtraction type will show you an error. For example here. So this type of thing has to be noted. The behavior of star sign, that is multiplication operator, on string and list can be understood if you consider mathematical multiplication in term of addition. Hence, multiplication of m is adding nothing but m time. So this is nothing but a performance of type of operator. Now, changing the data type. By means, I want to show you that how to use Python to change our data type. This will be used in our object-oriented programming. So as we have studied in our data type session, Python and data type session, data types are objects that can be changed as per their definition. The function integer int converts an input to an integer by rounding it off to the nearest integer. Similarly, float function makes type of answer in a floating point number. So all integers can be made floating point number, as 4 can also be defined as 4.0. The string function converts its argument to a string object. So it is worth noting that integer and float function cannot convert a string input to the data type. On the other hand, giving a numeral input to the string function converts its data type to a string. It does not remain a number anymore but behaves as a character. Let me demonstrate it over the console Python. How Python performs. Let me demonstrate it again. So first of all, let us clear the screen. Now, just say some number integer 4.2345, like that. I missed a line. I integer 4.35, so 2345. The output will be 4. Why? Because the integer operator converts the floating point number into integer. Now here, if instead of integer, if I write float of 4, the output will be 4.0. That's why, because floating point number has been converted using float number. But instead of float, if I write a string str, it will see me 4. Now this is nothing but a string. It is not none other than a number. A single number. If I string 4.0, it will become a string. So this is nothing but what I want to show you. Now, if I want to say that a is equal to string of 4 plus string of 4.0, will it be stored? Yes, it will be stored. And when I write a, the output will be 44.0. So in this manner, the concatenation over the string has been done using this operator. But float, where is this float? If I write float, for example, of a string, or say a, the output will be no. It could not convert string to float in this manner. So the order of usage is one of the most important part of what I want to show you. The order of usage. As you can see, Python follows PEMDAS. It's not a word actually, it is just a list of order of operation. PEMDAS stands for parenthesis, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. Thus, during a complex calculation which is involved in arithmetic operation, those are already covered with in this following order. The calculation will be covered in the following order. As you know, we can test let us test over a control so that we can actually see what actually happens when Python go for what I say PEMDAS. PEMDAS. I don't know how you pronounce it. You have to just remember it. It can be one of the important part of your assignment. So let us now perform a simple complex operation over Python to understand how this works. So just a minute, and let me write some. What should I write first? Let me first clear this screen, and 5 plus 6, no, I have to just show you how to do how operation has been performed. 6 minus 5, then let me say I add a complex operation, then 10 divided by minus 1, 9, again multiply it raised to 2. So it should be continuous in order to remove any error. The output will be, please calculate it and let me know whether I'm correct or not, whether Python is correct or not. But in this similar manner, now from here, if I remove all the brackets, if there are no brackets available here, what would be the output? Will it work, or it will show me an error? The answer is different. This is a simple demonstration of the PEMDAS order. So let's move further to our next slide, that is the comparison operator. As you can see, comparison operator. So these are the comparison operators. The logical operators are supremely important for comparing objects, and the operators used for comparison are also known as they are also known as logical operators, which is provided in table. So as you can see in the table, there are different type of comparison operators. One is the equal to operators, not equal to operators. Again, the similar manner of not equal to operators, there are two types of not equal to operators. Then less than and greater than operators, less than or equal to operators, and greater than or equal to operators. The result of the logical operators is neither one of the two binary objects. Abruptly, it is either true or it is either false. In some programming languages, binary operators are represented 1 and 0, as I have already informed you earlier in our session on data types and introduction, that Python uses true or false as a Boolean operator. So we have already checked all the things, but let's demonstrate it on Python, because more the practice you do, more clarity about the coding will be there for you. So let's say I just try to, for not true, it will be false, and here I write I assign A equal to true, then A will be actually true, and then I say, or to say A is not false because A is true, so let's say B is false. Okay, and then A and B. A and B will be false, true and false. So 1 and 0 will be 0, so it is false. If I write OR, which I have already demonstrated you, it is again this 1 or 1, it is false. Now let us say again that 1 is greater than or equal to 2. 1 is greater than or equal to 2. Is it equal to 2 greater than or equal to 1? Let's say that is 1 is greater than or equal to 2, whether it is this or not. Is it true or not? Our answer should be false actually. Yes, it's false. Okay. So in this manner you can use the comparative operator. You can also use this single line operator. That is 1 is greater than 2, it is false. So 1 is greater than equal to 2, okay, it is false. So this type of operators. Okay, so let's move further in the next session. What is the next object is? The next thing over this is membership operator. It is the simplest type of operator in Python. As you know, the membership operators checks the value of variables in a member of specific sequence. So let me demonstrate it to make it clear to you that how a membership operators work. So as you can see on the console, first of all let me clear the line. So I want to know the membership operators, where is it available or not. Say hello is available in hello world or not. So is it true? Hello is available in hello world. But if I write that name this particular name in hello world. Is it available? No, name is not available in hello world. In the similar manner, this is about string. If I want to know about number, say a is equal to 3, okay, and b is equal to 1 2 3 4 5, let's say there is a variable list, actually list b, which is comprising of 1 to 5 elements. So is a in b? Yes, a is in b. So but is 10 in b? No, 10 is not available in b. So from this I want to say that the operator in is used extensively in checking the condition of loop. It is one of the most important convenient way to run a loop. First you construct a list as per a defined condition or formula, and then you can run a loop until the condition is satisfied. This approach will be more utilized in the looping section. The next, let's move forward to the next slide. The next slide is regarding identity operator. This is the simplest type of operator you will be knowing what actually identity operator means. So to check if two values point to the same type of objects, an identity operator is used. It returns a boolean value of true or false. So if it is true if the object is equal, it means the object on the either side are the same. It is false if the case is not the same. Let me demonstrate it over the Python console. Okay, now this, so here we are going to demonstrate it. Identity operator. First clear the section here fully. Let me clear the section. And so 1 is 1. Is it true? Yes, 1 is 1. Like that Tejas is Tejas and you are you. So 1 is 1. But is 1 is 1.0? No, one is integer and another one is float type. So the output is false. Is 1 is 2? Now here the tricky one comes, that is true. Why? Because both are integer type. Is 1 is let's say 1 and give it a string operator, so it is nothing but a data type. It is false. So here what I'm saying, the identity operator check the data type and not the value. The value can be checked using the comparison operator, but if you want to check the data type, it will be done with identity operator. Okay, to our next slide, that is bitwise operator. So as you can see in the slide, so those are the bitwise operators that is available in Python. So data, we know that data are stored in computers in the form of bits. If we can operate directly on bits, we will have great flexibility and fast computation. However, it is difficult for humans to comprehend this concept since we are used to numerals defined in decimal format rather than binary format. Of course, for us, as I have already shown you in the data type section, that we are using decimal type of system in real world problem, but the computer is using a bitwise system, a bytewise system, a machine code system. So this has to be covered, this has to be understood, and in order to understand this, we have to demonstrate it over the Python. So let us demonstrate over Python console. One more thing to be noted, that bin function is used for binary. Okay, bin function is used for binary. Let me clear it. Clear. So let me demonstrate over the Jupyter console. Okay, so bin, I have already shown you that bin is nothing. Bin is used for binary operation. Let us only try 1 or integer type. Output will be OB1. If it is 10, then it is OB1010. If it is 100, again. If it is 1000, this. So when printing a binary representation of an integer number, OB identify that it is a binary representation. Now it is easy to understand. Okay, initially if it is integer, you don't require to identify it, but if it is shown in binary, OB the particular sign OB shows that it is a binary number. Okay, this will, so now you can understand that bitwise operators operate on this number at a bit level. So for example, if I say I have bin 100, let me again say this is a binary of 100. Okay, now is 100, if for this 100 it is shifted by 1, it will become 200, and now binary of this 200 will be what's this. See, I have just shifted this particular one towards more left side, and it will become the whole, means the whole number will change. I hope you are getting it. Let me say again, the another binary operator is we have used bitwise right shift. Let us say bitwise left shift. Let me use bitwise left shift. So here let me use left shift, and now run the code. The output will be 50 only, but what is the bin of 50? Because we have used binary operation, and in this manner the binary operation has been done. In the similar manner, if it is 2, that is in 100, you are shifting it twice. Instead of 1, if I write 2, the output will be 25. Why? Because bin of 25 will be, as you can see, the operation is towards this left and right side of this, or bitwise operation towards right side, and so the 1 is shifted to the right side, and we can see the output here. So once again, now the bitwise left operator shifts all the bits of 100 in 100 format to the left and flips the gap with a new 0. Thus the result one is different from the comparative one, which is equivalent to 200 in base 10. The rightwise operator shifts all the bits of 100 in decimal in 100 base to this particular to the right side, and the result is, as you can see above, that about 200 it is 110010, and the extra space has been filled with 00. In the similar manner, the 50 and 25 output has been shown. The logical operators defined earlier can be used here too. For example, Python's boolean value true is equivalent to 1 and 0 is equivalent to Python's boolean value false. So you can use AND or XOR NOT on this all thing, and you can find the output. You can try it at home also. How to use a bitwise operator. So second one thing which you need to know that about bitwise operator is that when it is found useful and when to run the bitwise operations. So bitwise operations find their use while dealing with hardware registers in embedded system. For example, if you have worked over 805, 8051 or 8085, every processor uses one or more register, usually specific memory address. How can I explain you? If you have gone through this previous chapter about 8051 and 8085, when an interrupt is enabled, signals can be communicated. Interrupts are enabled by setting an enable bit. Okay, for a particular interrupt, if you enable a bit, you can actually modify the number of bit sequence in a register. And this interrupt, by enabling it, you can communicate with the data stream. It typically sets a bit in a status register so that the single service routine can determine the precise reason for the interrupt. Okay, so that this is one of the use of bitwise operation at the processor level. The shifting operations are also used to shift bits as per formula, whereas AND and OR operation are used to check the status of the bit of a specific location. The same concept is used to alter the system file permission. For example, in Linux file system, each file has a number called mode, which indicates the permission about accessing the file. This integer can be retrieved in a program to know the status of the permission of the file. For example, if mode is not equal to 0 and if it is equal to 0, the status of the mode will change and the permission of the accessing the file will also change significantly and respectively. Bitwise operations are also preferred for the speed of operations since they directly operate on the bit in the memory. So in this session we have let's summarize this session here. So we have talked about operators and then their role in computing as they provide backbone to the defining pathway of fast computing. All mathematical functions are expressed either by individual operators or by a combination of them. For a programming language that caters to a variety of fields such as science, business, engineering, and arts, a lot of different kind of operators are needed, and Python applies in various dimensions, maturing the rich library of built-in functions as well as module-wise operators. Okay, friends. So let's end our session here. In our next session, we will talk about arrays, and till then, goodbye.